Welcome to my Animal Crossing house tour. Not every video I upload to this channel is going to be Nintendo themed, but my video I had planned for this week sort of fell through, and I thought that this would be a nice, low-effort way to have something a bit more substantial up this week. To my memory, I haven't done one of these before, either through streaming, screenshots, or video, so it feels like a good thing to do for the few people who might be interested. Let's start with the exterior, which is a relatively recent change. I chose this Tudor-adjacent style sometime late last year, and I matched this door to the foundation a little bit by color. It looks a bit awkward with a door like that. Ideally, I think it would be matched to the frame, but I suppose that the options weren't really close enough, and instead drew attention to the difference rather than looking similar. I've had some trouble with my sinuses and my throat, so I'm having a bit of trouble speaking, and it makes the YouTube channel kind of a bad project to start, but I'm going to do my best. So, my main room is a typical Animal Crossing affair, an open floor plan with the impression of a kitchen and a living space with dining as well. Over here in the kitchen, we've got this kitchenette with the shelf overlapping it. Those are two separate pieces. I think they look quite nice clipping together like that. I'm glad it was an option. Detail can be difficult to attain in Animal Crossing. We have a vacuum coffee maker, or a siphon, which I'm hoping to talk about a little bit more in a future video. Over in the kitchen we've got this wood and iron, I believe, furniture set, which I quite like aesthetically. We've got 3 of the cups from the roost, and some curry rice, which I quite like. Over here we've got a living space with an old-styled stereo system, an old radio, and an old-looking television set, which as time went on, I started to try and embrace a rustic aesthetic slightly, to give the impression, based on the remote setting, that we don't have access to the newest technology or service for that technology, which obviously flies in the face of the game itself, but I think it suits the aesthetic of the game pretty well. Over here we've got the requisite workbench area, which is a bit odd. It doesn't really fit in with the space too well, but it's necessary for New Horizons, and I think it looks pretty good. And it's a good use of this corner. It's interrupted by the doorway. Same over here, I've used this space for a few plaques, Happy Home, Academy, Trophy, and a pennant that has the colors of my university I went to. Here we have my bedroom. I've gone for a dark wood panel look for it. We've got the 4th of the roost cups. I had 4 for the longest time. I've since actually gotten 2 more as spares. The official ones, they make these, or replicas of these, which I quite like. Continuing with the rustic stylings, we have a typewriter and a lamp, which again, I think look quite good and definitely fit in with the dark wood look of this room, as do the Happy Home Academy plaques and banner. These shelves very much do not. Neither does this coat rack or clothes rack. But I suppose I didn't choose to customize these. Maybe I wasn't satisfied with the different wood finishes for these shelves, because they stick out pretty badly, and I'd like to change them. This lamp as well is, a little splash of blue, which I think doesn't look very good in the space. But there are a few sort of evocations of the characters in the game. We've got Rover's briefcase, a Rossetti lamp, Brewster gyroid, and this classic owl clock, which sort of evokes Blathers a little bit. And I like having these 4 kind of together like this. I think it was a nice little collection here that doesn't stick out too much, but they sort of go together, I think. Back here we've got a room that I'm quite proud of. I really like what I did with the sort of train room back here. We've got each of the 4 seasonal variants arranged in such a way to sort of give the impression of perhaps these tunnels might interconnect in a real-life train layout with maybe partitions between them. And they obviously take up almost the entire floor plan, which I sort of leveraged as a nice place to include all of my character portraits, which are of course all accessible with these details. And I've got the records above them as well, so I think it was nice to sort of elegantly leverage this space for something related to the game. Oh, I can use that. This stack of models was given to me by a real-life friend through the mail in the game for my actual birthday, and I came back into the game, came back, checked my letters, and saw that, and that was kind of nice. I believe it was those. I'll be quite embarrassed if it wasn't. Alrighty. Alrighty, here we have a bathroom, which is always sort of a difficult thing to implement in Animal Crossing, I think, because there's just so much space. This one has a single sink and a single toilet, which I think is, quite good. When you start to have extras of those, it feels a bit awkward. We've got a dressing booth, which is very out of place as an item or as furniture, but I think is quite nice functionally, right, to be able to change quickly in here. Though that isn't really functional. We've got a shower and a bathtub with a shower head on the wall, and 2 spa-type baths as well. The yuzu spa bath and the stone one, sort of shrouded somewhat with plants. This room is a bit awkward. I think that the coloring of the toilet, the shower, tub, and mat, it kind of looks like they were plucked out of a very different room, and they really ought to all be customized or substituted. I'm not sure why I didn't. And it might be nice to have another one of these lamps or similar over the other tub, because it really is shrouded, and I don't think it's in a very attractive way. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the bathroom. It's difficult to do these, I think. Usually a player will tuck a bathroom or the impression of a bathroom into a bigger space using screens traditionally, and now with Happy Home Designer or Happy Home Paradise, interior walls in the space to divide it out. But I like dedicating a whole room to it. I think that's provides better verisimilitude, and I think it looks nice, considering the challenges associated with it. So we've got the upstairs and the basement left, and I really love that New Horizons introduced these rectangular rooms. I think that they really, spur some creativity. So this is sort of the impression of a recording studio, you would say. I've arranged all these instruments such that they can be played, I think, in a relatively natural-looking way. Not that the arrangement is realistic, but you can stand in such a way that it's not too awkward. And I just love these, especially now that they all make notes. It reminds me of Wii Music a lot. In the past, they would play the town tune, but being able to play them like this is quite good, I think. I've got a reel-to-reel player over here with the synthesizers, and if you play music, I believe that it harmonizes or plays in the same key, or rather all the instruments will play in the same key as whatever track is playing, which is quite good. We've got an effects rack, and of course over here, partitioned all of the various synthesizer customizations, which all sound different, which is amazing. Part of what I like about this rectangular layout is that I've pretty plainly delineated out this section with these 2 rugs, separate from over here, and I sort of did the same as I did in my bedroom, with a slight nod to the characters, with a nook rug and what's meant to be sort of a rover rug here. And I think they look quite nice. I used to have records on the walls like I do in the train room now. Now I've decided that I prefer just the bare acoustic paneling wallpaper, and these autographs I think are kind of nice, a little bit silly, but and it's good to have rugs in a recording space, I believe. So we sort of have a dead end and a live end maybe, but I'm not an engineer in the slightest. Alright, last we've got the sort of the oldest room that has seen the least significant changes recently. Or rather, it's the last to have been finished in its current iteration. I need to turn down the audio in here because I've tried to record this a few times, and in one of them it's just so deafeningly loud in here that it really drowned me out. So I don't have a good reference, feedback reference, but I hope that's enough, and not too little either. This is sort of a vaguely themed room. It's sort of themed to be an abandoned classroom, perhaps, some sort of closed classroom. And it came about because early in 2020 I had heard the Neil Cicierega record, Spirit Phone, for the first time, and I was quite taken by it. And there were a few details that I wanted to put in sort of a vaguely creepy or paranormal or something basement. We've got a rotary phone, not a touch tone. I couldn't find a touch tone. And some arcade cabinets as well. Soldering kit, lab bench. Lab bench was really the starting point. And from the lab bench, actually, the sort of conceit of the abandoned classroom came about. And I think it's good. I think it ties it together in a pretty nice way, even if it's a, very disjointed space. That's a bit odd. I love this projector that's pointed at the screen to sort of give the idea or the impression of a projector screen. A camcorder for recording manifestos or such. I believe there's a security camera as well in the corner there. Yeah, this is kind of a silly room, but it actually feels quite nostalgic, especially with the music playing, because I always played that in here, and it's old at this point. It's almost 5 years old, which is, well, I didn't have this built when I first got the game, but maybe 4 years old, and it's nostalgic for that reason. We always had a plasma ball around when I was a kid as well, so that's sort of a nostalgic thing as well. Alrighty, that's the whole house. I got it in under 15 minutes, which was my new goal. I wanted to do under 10, but I'm a bit too circumlocucious for that. Granted, I've had plenty of attempts to tie things together a little bit, tighten up, as it were. So yeah, thank you for watching, anyone who's watched this far. I'm glad that I was able to do this. I'm glad to be doing this little project. And I hope that you enjoyed.